When we fearlessly serve others, we often confront bitter consequences as the force of darkness target those who shine brightly for the Lord. Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. John 15:13. This truth radiates through the life of Rev.Fr.James Kottayil S.J., the first Catholic missionary from India to lay down his life for the upliftment of the marginalized Adivasis of Ranchi. His story is a beacon of courage, sacrifice, and unwavering love for humanity. Born on November 15, 1915, in Thuruthipalli, Kerala, to Mr. Chako Kottayil and Mrs. Mariam Mappalaparambil, Father James grew up with a heart that beat for God and his mission. From a young age, he cherished a deep desire to become a missionary priest, dedicating his life to proclaiming the good news to the farthest corners of the earth. He answered God's call and joined the Jesuit congregation S.J. of Ranchi province, eventually being ordained as a priest in Kurseong in 1948. His life's motto was clear: go to the whole world and proclaim the good news. After ordination, Father James began his missionary journey in the remote areas of Biru and Jashpur under the Ranchi diocese. Ablaze with a zeal, he preached the gospel tirelessly, ministering to the poor and empowering the downtrodden. The Adivasi people, trapped in the vicious cycle of poverty, exploitation, and alcoholism, found hope through his guidance. Father James not only shared the message of salvation, but also worked relentlessly to improve their lives, teaching the youth to break free from idle habits, fight alcoholism, and save for a brighter future. Through his service, he stood boldly against the exploitation by local landlords who had enslaved the Adivasi people for generations. With compassion and courage, he taught the oppressed to stand firm and demand justice, breaking the chains of fear that had bound them for years. Father James became a powerful voice for the voiceless, challenging the landlords who exploited ignorance and poverty. Yet, as the light of Christ shone brighter through his ministry, the forces of darkness conspired against him. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. Unaware of the danger looming over him, Father James continued his mission joyfully, welcoming everyone with open arms. But on the fateful night of July 13, 1967, the powers of darkness struck. Two well-dressed men arrived at the mission house seeking shelter. With a heart full of love, Father James welcomed them, offering food and a place to rest. However, as the clock struck midnight, the men knocked on his door again, this time with evil intent. Without hesitation, he opened the door, ready to serve. But in a cruel betrayal, they stabbed him 13 times, leaving him mortally wounded. Despite the pain, Father James responded not with anger, but with the forgiveness of Christ. The brother staying in a nearby room heard his cries and rushed to help. Church bells rang through the night, summoning people to the scene. They carried their beloved priest 10 kilometers on foot to the nearest vehicle and took him to Holy Family Hospital. There, he fought for his life for 3 days. But God's appointed time had come. On July 16, 1967, Father James breathed his last breath in Navathand, forgiving his murderers and surrendering his soul into God's hands. His martyrdom sent shock waves through the land. People gathered from far and wide, weeping and mourning for the priest who had lived and died for their cause. Though his earthly life ended in bloodshed, the seeds of faith he planted began to bear fruit. What was once barren soil became fertile ground for a flourishing Catholic Church. Today, the people of Ranchi stand as witnesses to the transformative power of his sacrifice, faithfully living out the Christian values he taught them. The life and death of Father James remind us that true greatness lies not in comfort but in sacrificial love. Just as Christ laid down his life for us, Father James followed in his footsteps, giving everything for the sake of those in need. His blood shed on Ranchi's soil became the foundation for the church's growth and the people's liberation from oppression. Let us be inspired by the life of Reverend Father James Kottayil S.J., a priest who lived and died for love. In a world that often rewards selfishness, his story inspires us to serve with courage, compassion, and conviction. As St. Teresa of Calcutta once said, "Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love." Father James reminds us that every act of kindness, no matter how small, has the power to transform the world. Let us carry his legacy forward, remembering the words of St. John Paul II. The future starts today, not tomorrow. May we take up the mission of love without delay, trusting that the light shines in the darkness and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. And when the road becomes difficult, let us find strength in the words of St. Augustine. Pray as though everything depended on God. Work as though everything depended on you. We pray that the heroic life of this martyr of faith may one day be exalted to the altars for veneration, and maybe to be emboldened to serve fearlessly, knowing that a single sunbeam is enough to drive away many shadows. St. Francis of Assisi. Reverend Father James Kottayil S.J. lived as that sunbeam And though darkness sought to extinguish his light, his legacy continues to shine, guiding us to love, serve, and live fearlessly for Christ.